Cataclysms and pole flips, historical artifacts testify to the catastrophes of the past. Despite the fact that official historians, for most part, call all those who doubt the veracity of the myths set forth in textbooks ignorant and incompetent, few people know that there are many historical sources that contradict this very official version. Let's keep in mind the lost continent of Atlantis. Let's keep in mind also that the island of Rhodes had gone underwater and came up a few times and then finally stayed up. Now, Greek Herodotus of Heraclius, the father of history, retells his conversation with Egyptian priests during his visit to Egypt after Egypt became a kingdom. 4 times during this time, as I was told, the sun was rising contrary to its usual. Twice it rose where it now sits, and twice it sat where it now rises. In addition to Herodotus, Roman geographer Pomponius Mela wrote that the same thing that the Egyptians said was true. The Egyptians take pride in being the oldest people in the world. In their original chronicles, one can read that since the beginning of their existence, the course of the stars has changed in direction 4 times, and that the sun has set twice in that part of the sky where it rises now. And that is, everything changed 4 times. How can this be explained? The historical data of Egypt are unequivocal. Harris's magical papyrus tells about the cosmic displacement of fire and water when the south became the north and the earth turned over. The Ipuwer papyrus states that the earth turned like a potter's wheel. In the papyrus of the Hermitage, there's also a mention of a catastrophe that turned the earth upside down. Can you imagine? Let's be reminded that people did not know about the daily rotation of the earth and believed that the firmament with its luminaries rotates around the earth. Something happened that never happened. In ancient Egypt, there was even a name for the rising of the western sun, Garukuti. It rises in the west. In the Syrian city of Ugarit, Shamra, the text was found dedicated to the goddess Anat, who destroyed the population of the Levant and reversed the 2 dawns and the movement of the stars. Plato wrote, "I mean the changes in the rising and setting of the sun and other celestial bodies, when in ancient times they usually set where they now rise, and ascended where they now set. At certain periods, the universe has its present revolution, and at other periods it rotates in the opposite direction. Of all the other changes that take place in the heavens, this reverse motion is the most significant and complete. At that time, the destruction of all animals took place, and only a few of the people remained alive." What is the explanation for the universe rotation in the opposite direction? Plato is not the only Greek who wrote about the reverse motion of the sun. There are many such Greek authors. In the historical drama Atreus by the Athenian playwright Sophocles, it's indicated that the sun rises in the east only since its movement has changed. Zeus changed the course of the sun, causing it to rise in the east instead of the west. The ancient Greek playwright Euripides wrote in Electra, "Then Zeus rose in anger, turned the stars back on their fiery path, and even the dazzlingly burning chariot of the sun, and the foggy look of the cloudy morning. And the flash of his flying chariot lit up the face of the fading day with a scarlet light. The sun turned back, carrying the punishment of mortals with the whip of its anger." In another essay, Euripides writes, "With the winged chariot of the sun rushed back from the terrible strife, changing its path through the heavens to the west in the direction where the dawn was burning with a blush, and the people seized with fire asked, 'Do we alone of all mankind deserve to have this sky with inverted poles frightening us? Has our last day really come?' How can it be that the sky with inverted poles terrified people back then, prompting them to await for an end of dates scenario? Among the American Indians, the sun, which moves to the east, hence in the direction opposite to the current one, even has a separate name, called Teotlixo. The Mexican people symbolically liken liken the change in the direction of the solar movement as a celestial ball game accompanied by collisions and earthquakes on Earth. Jewish historical data, Hai Gaon, in his answers, mentions cosmic changes as a result of which the sun rose in the west and set in the east. In the treatise Sanhedrin, which is part of the Talmud, it says, 7 days before the flood, the Holy One changed the original order, and the sun rose in the west and set in the east. Can you imagine? I didn't even know this. So at the day, 7 days before the actual deluge of Noah, 7 days before the flood, a week before the flood, God changed the order, the original order, and the sun rose in the west and set in the east. Can you imagine? The Arabic Quran tells about the deity of 2 easts and 2 wests. Quote from the Quran, "The hour will not come until the sun rises in the west, and when it rises and people see it, they will all believe. But then a person will not be good in faith if he did not believe before, did not deserve good by doing righteous deeds by their faith." The Western Arab philosopher Averroes wrote about the eastern and western directions of the sun. In Russian chronicles dating back to the 13th and 14th centuries, though all of them are from later lists, there are reddening of the sky, earthquakes, forest fires, 2-month darkness, unprecedented floods, and so on. In the Vologda Chronicle, it's written, "The sun died." Jesuit missionary Martinius wrote a book, History of China. According to ancient chronicles, leaving behind the brackets the falsification of Cathay, China, but the book directly says about the displacement of the Earth's axis. The support of the sky collapsed. The Earth was shaken to its foundation. The sky began to fall to the north. The sun, moon, and stars changed in the path of their movement. The entire system of the universe came. The sun was in eclipse and the planets changed their paths. What are all these sources talking about? Obviously about those very global catastrophes of the past, the presence of which the official science completely ignores, telling us about the progressive development of civilization from the most primitive cultures to the modern one. But if such catastrophes occurred in the past, it means that as a result of them, humanity has more than once been thrown into the Stone Age in its development. And consequently, in our past, those very highly developed civilizations could actually exist, the memory of which was preserved only in the mythology of various cultures worldwide. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. This is from Solask. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.